Good evening, Florida, and welcome to Coastal Conservative News Week in Review. I'm Allie Leger.
And I'm Michelle Posey. Every week, guys, we take a closer look at the stories shaping our communities, protecting our freedoms, and defining life here in the great Sunshine State.
For public safety, culture to health, environment, and lifestyle, we're bringing you the stories that matter, not the ones the mainstream media ignores. So let's
Absolutely.
get started.
And of course, we're here live at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando for the National Moms for Liberty Summit. So make sure that we'll bring you some footage from there throughout the weekend. All right, Allie, here we go. We begin with two major crime stories highlighting the growing challenges law enforcement continues to face across the state.
In Lake Worth Beach, deputies are investigating a double homicide that left two young men dead in an early morning shooting. The victims have been identified as 20-year-old Frank June and 29-year-old Anderson Arthur. Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies say this was not a random attack. The investigators are following multiple leads, but no suspects have yet been named. Thank you to CBS.
Wow. And on Florida's Turnpike, a major drug bust by the Florida Highway Patrol and the DEA resulted in the seizure of 173 kilograms of cocaine.
Wow.
Sounds like a Hunter Biden party. Worth more than $14.7 million. Now, the semi-truck carrying the drugs was stopped near Osceola County after a canine alerted troopers to hidden compartments. I love these canines. Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins praised the operation, saying, quote, Florida is leading the nation in interagency cooperation and stopping cartel infiltration at our borders and highways. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor.
Yes, amazing. Meanwhile, in Orlando, police are searching for a man accused of attacking a woman near Grand Avenue. Detectives released this sketch to the public, urging everyone or anyone with information to call Crime Line. A stark reminder, if you see something, please say something.
Absolutely, guys. Keep your eyes peeled this weekend. Turning to community and culture, Orange County, which we are in right now, is looking to take land conservation into their own hands. Commissioners are discussing new local state partnerships. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good all the time. To expand bird sanctuaries and hunting restrictions around ecologically sensitive zones. So we'll keep you posted on that.
The plan proposed by Commissioner Emily Bonilla, if that's how you say that, hopefully.
Yes.
I apologize, Emily, could bring state level support while protecting local autonomy, which is so important.
Okay.
A rare win-win in today's political climate. If passed, it would help balance growth with environmental preservation.
Okay. I'll reserve my opinion until I see it. That's great.
Don't worry, we'll try and reach out to Emily for you all.
That's right. Florida's wildlife officials were also busy this week, and for good reason. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission began new aquatic plant control operations in Lake Okeechobee to combat invasive species threatening native plants and water quality.
And it's not all cleanup. It's also celebration season. Stone crab season officially opened October 15th. Fishermen across the Gulf Coast are back on the water, hauling in one of Florida's most iconic delicacies. We might have to go.
A little bit of butter, a little bit of butter, a little bit of lime.
A lot of butter, and maybe some Cajun seasoning.
Oh, that would be yummy. Yeah. Guys, from the lakes to the land, let's talk about what's happening in Florida's wild spaces as well.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission has confirmed a second case of chronic wasting disease, commonly known as zombie deer disease.
What?
Very scary in Holmes County. It's a fatal neurological illness that affects deer populations and could severely impact the state's hunting and wildlife industries.
Interesting. Officials are expanding the testing zones and reminding hunters to report any sick or strangely behaving deer. Containment and early detection remain key.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah.
And in brighter news, Florida secured a 7,000-acre conservation easement on a working cattle ranch, ensuring that the land remains used for agriculture while still protecting habitats for endangered species like the eastern indigo snake and gopher tortoise.
That's right. Meanwhile, over in Volusia County, the D Ranch Preserve continues to expand. Now, this 476-acre site features wetlands, hammocks, and variety of wildlife habitats. The plans are underway for a $2.5 million nature center to boost environmental education and, of course, tourism.
Florida families love their football and sunshine, and Florida University games have kicked off last week. Well, they
Yes.
didn't kick off, but we have a couple of really good
Gonna give the
scores
updates.
here. So, Florida Atlantic Owls on October 11th, the Owls beat the UAB Blazers at FAU Stadium 53-33. Florida Gators lost to the Texans, Texas A&M, 34-17 on the 11th. And Florida State Seminoles, the Seminoles fell to the Pittsburgh Panthers in a close 34-31 matchup at home. UCF Knights lost on the road to the Cincinnati Bearcats, sorry, excuse me, 2011. That was the score. FIU Panthers in a game that took place just after midnight on October 15th. Craziness. The Panthers defeated the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 25-6.
Okay, now update me on high school because high school's like holding your breath in the
Yes,
stands,
it is.
right?
It is. And that's why my voice sounds the way it does. My son plays for Riverview in Hillsborough, and today is their senior night. So this is his last game in high school. And so we're so excited.
Gonna be there.
But several high school teams across Florida played Friday Night Lights. Everybody loves them. October 10th. Some of the scores from the night include American Heritage, 42 to Norland 21. Wow. Armwood 49 to Sickles.
High scoring
0.
games.
I
Oh my
know,
goodness.
amazing. Auburndale 42-0 against Poinciana. Bishop Kenny 42 to Mendez 0.
Nice.
Bowles 48 against Andrew Jackson 0.
Oh my gosh, these high scoring.
Oh my gosh, isn't it great? And then we have Bushels 42 to Tulsi Creek 7. At least they got on the board, so that's good. Charlotte 20 to Mariners 15.
Charlotte.
And Creekside 35 to Atlantic Coast 6. Still on the board. Great job.
So this is the interesting thing about this. It used to be when you had such a big lead, you didn't drive the score up. I'm actually for this.
I am so for this. I'm glad that we are allowing our football players to play the game. It is a full contact sport, and these boys need that outlet. So I'm very proud of everyone that has played in our sports this week. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, guys. So from protecting wildlife and families to defending law enforcement and community safety, guys, Florida continues, as always, to prove that freedom and responsibility do go hand in hand, Allie.
That's your Coastal Conservative News Week in Review. And remember, when national outlets ignore the heart of America, you can count on us to tell the stories straight from the Suncoast to the Panhandle.
That's right. And now here is your Suncoast Community Segment with Raj Doraisamy.
Tonight, inside the Republican Party of Florida, questions are mounting about power, control, and accountability. Across the state, local Republican members elected by their own neighbors say they've been removed, replaced, or shut down by party leaders in Tallahassee. Entire county organizations have been dissolved. Hundreds of elected Republicans are now asking the same thing. Who really controls the party? Each county in Florida has its own Republican Executive Committee. They're not appointed, they're chosen by voters to represent local conservatives. But lately, the state party has been intervening, citing unity. Critics call it an abuse of power. At the center of it all is Mr. BILL HELMICH, the party's executive director. County officials say that he has been leading the removals. But public records now raise a different question. Is Mr. HELMICH following the same rules that he is enforcing? Records show that Mr. HELMICH claims a homestead in Leon County. Yet Mr. HELMICH has voted for years not in Leon County, but in Madison County, where he also serves as a committeeman. Florida law is clear. An elected official may only run as an elected state official in the county that they claim as their residence. If his true home is in Leon County, why is Mr. HELMICH voting in Madison County, and why is he running as a state elected official in Madison County? Could this violate voter or tax laws? That will have to be decided by attorneys and law enforcement. We reached out to Mr. HELMICH, and he did not respond. So the question isn't just about one man, it's about whether those enforcing the rules are willing to live under them. Because in Florida, voters decide who represent them, and soon they'll decide what accountability looks like.
Thank you, Raj, for that bombshell report on RPOF Executive Director and Florida State Committeeman BILL HELMICH. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Wow. From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order. Welcome back to CCN, Coastal Conservative News. Now let's turn from Florida's community happenings to Florida's leadership. It is time for Political Pulse. Good evening, Florida. I'm Allie Leger, and this is Political Pulse, the segment where we cut through the noise and get straight to what matters in the Sunshine State's political heartbeat.
Yes, and I'm Michelle Posey. Tonight, we're diving into the latest on Governor Ron DeSantis' agenda, major law and order actions from Attorney General James Uthmeier, key legislative and judicial updates, education and cultural policies shaking up our schools, and the latest in government accountability.
So let's get into it, because here in Florida, politics isn't just headlines.
Absolutely.
It's a fight for freedom, family, and the future of our state.
Absolutely. Okay, Governor DeSantis continues to prove Florida is the law and order state. This week, the governor signed another execution warrant for this one for Brian Frederick Jennings. Now, he was convicted, guys, back in 1979 for rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl. Wow, his execution is scheduled for November 13th of 2025, marking the 16th death warrant DeSantis has signed this year. The most in modern Florida history, but listen, these are heinous crimes.
Heinous crimes. And you do it. You gotta.
Yeah.
We are the FAFO state.
Absolutely. The FAFO state.
And we protect our children. And I think that is what needs to be the takeaway. When you damage a child in this way, it is lifelong for them to get.
It's a prison for them. So
for sexual abuse. Yeah, absolutely. Now, the governor has made it clear Florida will not tolerate violent crime or endless appeals. He said recently, quote, "Justice delayed is justice denied. And in Florida, we don't let monsters die of old age." And I agree with him.
God bless you, DeSantis.
This continues his broader effort to restore confidence in a justice system that far too often protects criminals over victims.
And I think the nation can learn a lot from this, Allie.
I agree.
Meanwhile, the controversial free kill law repeal, which allows families to sue over wrongful deaths caused by medical malpractice, is back in play. A House subcommittee just recently advanced a revised version of the bill that Governor DeSantis vetoed last year, so they made some changes, signaling a possible compromise ahead. We'll keep an eye on that for you.
Yeah, the governor has expressed sympathy for families, but warned against creating, quote, lawsuit lotteries that drive up costs for everyone, end quote. Still, some Republican lawmakers are trying to craft a version that threads the needle, justice for families without opening the floodgates for trial lawyers.
That's pretty amazing. We'll keep an eye on that one for you guys. Now, Florida's Attorney General James Uthmeier had a busy week defending both the rule of law and parental rights. Why do we have to defend parental rights? That is just so weird.
They are so fundamental.
Absolutely. He joined 14 other states in supporting a Supreme Court case known as Florida's own Little John versus School Board of Leon County, where a Florida mom, January Littlejohn, alleges her child's pronouns were changed at school without parental consent.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot more to that story, and she's been exposing that story for a really long time. So if you want more information, you can keep it locked here at CCN. Now, Uthmeier wrote, quote, "No school anywhere has the authority to override a parent's rights to raise their child according to their values."
Yes.
It's another strong signal that Florida's legal system will continue to stand firm against woke school bureaucracy.
I love
I mean,
this,
and
yeah.
let's face it, it's usurpation of parental rights when the
Absolutely.
school decides to do something behind a parent's back.
Absolutely. And Uthmeier, I love this. He's not just fighting in the courts, he's also hitting the grassroots front lines. He's slated to speak where we're at today, the Moms for Liberty National Summit right here in Gaylord Palms Resort in Orlando this weekend. So we'll try to catch up with him as well. He's joining thousands, just as we are, of conservative parents, school board members, school board candidates, and legislators for strategy sessions on education reform and freedom in schools. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And for more, you can go to momsforliberty.org, I believe it is, to find out more information about that. The summit has become one of the nation's most influential gatherings for parents' rights advocates, drawing national media attention for its unapologetic defense of traditional values and education.
And if you're not a parental rights advocate, then what the heck are you? That's just my thing. In the state legislature, there's movement, guys, on SB 30, Senate Bill 30, a bill aimed at reforming how property insurers file rate increases. Now, this is part of Florida's continued effort to stabilize the insurance market after years of volatility.
Yes, we will definitely keep an eye on that in the Florida Senate for sure. And a major leadership announcement, Senator Jim Boyd has been named president designate of the Florida Senate for 2026 through 2028. Wow. Boyd, known for his pragmatic conservatism, is expected to carry forward DeSantis' legacy of fiscal discipline and accountability. We are so excited for you, Senator Jim Boyd. Thank you so much for all you do.
Yes, education remains ground zero in America's culture war, guys, and Florida continues to lead. Now, ahead of the Moms for Liberty Summit, Education Commissioner, who's also going to be here, Stacey Kamutsas, reiterated that Florida teachers are expected to uphold professional standards. We hope they will, and not personal agendas, right? Kamutsas emphasized that classroom politics will not be tolerated.
Thank goodness. At the same time, several bills under review would expand parental access to curriculum databases, giving parents a clearer picture of what's being taught and the ability to flag inappropriate content directly to the Department of Education.
I mean, this is how it should always have been. When you have an active and parents involved in education, parents and teachers usually work very well together.
The students thrive.
Yes, absolutely. Florida's approach is clear. Education should empower families, not indoctrinate students. And that message will no doubt echo throughout the summit here in Orlando this weekend. We're excited.
Yes. And the Florida Department of Government Efficiency, I know, it's so exciting, is making waves again, this time under Commissioner Blaise Ingoglia's, who's launched what is called Waste Watch Initiative, targeting misuse of funds in Democrat-led counties, but it's also Republican-led counties.
Oh, sure. I'm sure it's everywhere.
Pigs of vanity yesterday.
Yes. Ingoglia's audit report alleges millions wasted on, and I'm quoting here, non-essential diversity programs and redundant administrative roles. We call that a deep state, really.
Yes.
Critics call it the political targeting, but Ingoglia says he's just following the numbers. And Floridians deserve to know where their tax dollars go.
100%.
That should not be a political right or left. That shouldn't at all.
Everybody pays taxes, and everyone needs to know where their money goes. Do you do that in your own family budget?
Sure.
Yes, you need to know where your money's going. This push for fiscal responsibility mirrors DeSantis' broader theme, smaller, smarter government that serves people, not bureaucracies. Accountability isn't partisan. Like we said, it's patriotic. And now let's get to Cam in the moment.
Here we go.
Thank you, Allie and Michelle. Aren't they the best? Thank you, guys. And welcome to Cam in the Moment here on Coastal Conservative News. I'm Camden, and here are your week's biggest moments coming up. All right, guys, welcome back to the show here on Coastal Conservative News. I'm so excited this week to be able to bring you the news of this past week in Sarasota County and really all over America as people everywhere celebrated Charlie Kirk's first heavenly birthday. We had an amazing event here in Sarasota County, and I just want to tell you about that I have the opportunity to bring you that news. We had so many young people come out for the first time and really stand up for truth and say, you know what? I want to be involved. I want to do something. Here locally, in Sarasota County, in Florida, in America, there's people everywhere right now. And they're not afraid anymore. Something really has changed since Charlie Kirk's assassination. I think it woke a lot of people up out of this passivity, and they said, no, it's time for us to be active, even at a young age. You know, it doesn't matter what age you are anymore. This is our time. We're not just the next generation, we're the now generation. And so if you're a young person watching this like me, this was the turning point, and this event really showcased what it was all about. There was an absolutely amazing lineup of speakers who came out and all brought fantastic points and information across a bunch of subjects about how we can actually get involved and stay fighting for these conservative values and principles that we all want to see in our counties, in our states, and in our country. So I just want to go over a few of the speakers with you, and then we'll get into what the students thought. But first of all, we had some great ones. I want to start with Mike McCarahan, the director of Sarasota Fellowship of Christian Athletes, who he said, we need to bring the truth to people just like Charlie did. And that's what they did at FCA, and that's what they're doing. They said it starts with the gospel and it ends with the gospel. And that's how we all need to be as well. Because if you know anything about Charlie, this really was his mission, because he was a conservative, but he was a Christian first. And so Mike really brought that perspective to all of us. And he said that Christianity is actually rising in Venice High School, which is amazing. It's a great thing to hear. And we had Connie Bruni, the president of Sarasota MAGA Patriots, that said we need to get involved in the lowest of government. You know, we can't just look at the presidential elections and the big things. We need to be involved in the state, in the county, in the city things going on, so that we can make sure that where we live stays like we want it to be. And especially, we need to inform young people to pre-register to vote. She really made that point. And actually, I didn't even know this, but you can pre-register at 16 years old to vote. Robin Marinelli, a Sarasota County School Board member, said that it's really time for Sarasota Republicans to stand up, and really the Sarasota School Board. Because, you know, if you know anything about the last 4 years, we've seen so much change in our schools. It's really scary. But she said that the Sarasota School Board has brought back prayer, which is amazing. I really commend her and everyone on that team for doing that. And she encouraged people to continue Charlie's mission, much like we're doing. I mean, I have this shirt on that says, "Here I am, Lord, send me." This was Charlie's mission, and that's really what the theme of the whole event was about. All of these speakers were bringing the points. And one more that I wanted to bring up, Bridget Ziegler, another Sarasota member of the school board, says, be brave to talk about politics and truth. Have courage to stand up and have conversations. Don't be afraid, because this is our country we're fighting for. This is our families we're fighting for. And on the school board, we have to fight against that leftist ideology that's really infecting a lot of the areas. If you might not even know, as a parent, your kids are really subject to this stuff. And that's what Michelle Posey and Ali Leger also emphasized, that moms and parents really need to be a part of all this. I actually had the opportunity to speak as well, and there was a really cool moment where we could visibly hear a kid, the next generation, stand up and respond to the call. Watch.
My question for all of you here today is this: are you willing to go where God is ready to send you? Yeah. Are you willing to say, "Here I am, Lord, send me"? Are you willing to fight the good fight? Lay down your fear of man and rise up in the fear and reverence of God Almighty. Are you willing?
Yes, sir.
I thought that was so cool, because we heard him say, "Yes, sir." Like he was responding in real time to what I was saying. And I'm just saying what Charlie was saying. So it's a whole movement that the next generation is getting behind. And we start right now. Even these kids, it was amazing to see how hungry they are for the truth, how hungry they are for these values that we don't want to just perish because Charlie did. You know, we have to be the ones living it on, and that's what I saw at the event. I was actually on scene to talk to Gen Z about Charlie, about Turning Point, and what's next for all of us right here, right now. Watch. Camden Bettinghouse with Coastal Conservative News here out at the Turning Point USA celebration of Charlie Kirk's heavenly birthday. What's your name?
Andrew.
Why did you come out tonight?
When I started learning that he was a man of God, and I started to see that he's spreading the word to the younger generation, like college campuses, et cetera, and then when I seen that he died for his faith, he got assassinated, that lit a fire in my soul to say, you know what, I'm done saying I'm a follower of Christ and not actually being a follower of Christ. Good. So I took my cross and I'm spreading the word of God, and I'm gonna do it with no shame, no judgment, and I'm gonna continue to do it. And if I go out like Charlie Kirk did, so be it.
I just really want to make a difference, and I want to see things change in our nation.
Yeah.
Honestly, worldwide.
I believe very strongly in freedom, and I kid you not, without freedom and God and liberty, I just feel like America is not what it's supposed to be. When you see people rioting, being disgustful to their neighbor, it's not what our Constitution is. We're supposed to be free. We have the right of liberty, free markets, and all the rest.
I think that Charlie's mission, Turning Point, is just such an important thing for our country. And getting young people involved is really crucial. Our next generation is who's going to carry us.
President River right here. What got you inspired to get involved and do this here?
Honestly, it's just everything that Charlie Kirk did originally. I was already following that, and then after his passing, I felt obligated to continue his, what he was doing. I just felt obligated to continue his motion and action.
What's your message to other people like your age that are scared to get involved or letting fear control their involvement right now in the whole sphere of everything going on?
I would say don't be scared. You have nothing to be afraid of except not doing anything.
That's good.
That is the worst fear that you should have, is to just stay silent.
It's the younger generation that needs it the most. Changing genders, that's absurd. Somebody was talking about wearing a furry suit, acting like dogs. It's not right. It's not righteous, and I want to preach righteousness. I want to preach truth, and that's all in Scripture. It's all in the Bible.
You are our future, and we need it.
You can still go to church. You can still get baptized. I got baptized yesterday.
Let's go. Congratulations.
I got saved, and that was my rebirth.
It inspires me so much what he talks about and how he explains what he's standing for. And just the word of God is just a great message to spread around.
My message to young people would be just do it. I mean, don't let fear drive your decisions. It's so important that we speak out and we let our voices be heard.
Again, the future is bright. The young people are here and standing up. Thank you guys so much for the interview. Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you.
Wow. As you can see, there is still hope for this next generation. There is still hope for our county here and for our state here. So if you're a member of a family, maybe you're a parent, maybe you're a grandparent, or you're a student, there's a place for everybody in this movement. And if you had lost hope for the next generation, let me tell you, we're just getting started. This is just the beginning. All right, and now it's time for our good news, our wholesome moment of the week to end this segment. Florida is possibly going to name 30 to 40 roads after Charlie Kirk. And I thought it was really fitting to bring that into this segment because of all the stuff that we're talking about Charlie. And you might be like, and there's probably people that are saying right now, you're still talking about Charlie? Yeah, you better bet we are. This was a big deal, and we're not going to stop now. Because Representative Kevin Steele filed House Bill 133, which says redesignations of state university and Florida college system institutions may require Florida college systems to the boards of trustees to redesignate specific roads or portion of roads to names regarding Charlie James Kirk within 90 days. So if that passed, that would actually give all these Florida colleges an opportunity to really make a statement and say we are for free speech. Charlie was a champion of free speech, and right on the campuses they were there. And so I really hope it passes. We'll see what happens, and we're going to bring you those updates here as well. So thank you for joining me today. So much in store for the future of the conservative movement. Don't lose hope. This is just the beginning, and I just am so excited to see what I do, what the next generation does, and what you do at home. So if you want more information about this chapter and all chapters everywhere, start in Sarasota County. Go to tpusasrq.com to get involved as well. See what we're doing and see where it goes from here. All right, thank you guys for coming to this segment this week, and I'll see you next week on Cam in the Moment.
Thank you, Camden. Sarasota now has a Turning Point chapter headquarters.
So exciting.
That's exciting. We can go to Cam in the Moment to cover what's going on with young people right here in Sarasota County.
Hi. Hello, how are you? We are here to get an IV. An IV. I heard you have an IV room?
Yeah, absolutely. You just head right back this way.
Awesome. Thank you. Knock, knock. Hello. Hi, I'm Michelle.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, this
Hi,
is Allie.
Allie. Nice to
Allie.
see you.
Nice to see you. How can I help you? We're stressed. We're
Yeah.
moms. We've got multitasking going on. I feel like I fall victim to like a brain fog a little bit. I don't know if that's my age or whatnot.
You need a little bit of clarity, a little bit of energy.
Yep.
Right?
Is there of an IV that you would recommend for that? Thank you.
We call this the brainstorm.
The brainstorm.
The brainstorm.
Come visit We the People Health and Wellness Center,
where medical freedom exists.
Welcome back to Coastal Conservative News. We will now go to this week's Faith in Focus with Kevin Gamble.
Welcome back to Faith in Focus, the segment where we zoom in on the timeless truths of Scripture and shine a light on how they intersect with our world today. If you've ever scrolled through social media or chatted with a skeptical friend, you've probably heard this one. The Bible? It's just ancient myths written centuries after the fact. How can we trust it? It's a fair question, one that hits at the heart of faith. Many atheists and skeptics point to the timeline. Jesus walks the earth around 30 AD, but the Gospels don't hit the page until 30 to 60 years later. That's a gap, they say, ripe for legend and exaggeration. But what if I told you that the core of the Christian message, the death and resurrection of Jesus, wasn't whispered in some distant council room decades later? What if it was proclaimed, memorized, and passed down within 2 to 5 years of the empty tomb? Today, we're diving into something called the pre-Pauline Creeds, snapshots of early Christian belief that are as contemporary to Jesus as a news bulletin. We'll unpack why these creeds make a rock-solid case for the Bible's factual reliability. Along the way, we'll touch on the Bible's intricate web of internal connections, spanning languages, authors, and continents, and spotlight some jaw-dropping recent archaeological finds that keep confirming the people and places of Scripture. Stick with me. This is History Alive, and it might just strengthen your faith in ways you didn't expect. Let's start at ground zero, the empty tomb. The year is around 30 AD. Jesus has been crucified, buried, and according to eyewitnesses, risen. No time for fairy tales here. The first believers aren't crafting fan fiction. They're risking their lives to proclaim what they actually saw. Enter the pre-Pauline Creeds. These are short, rhythmic statements of faith embedded in the New Testament letters, like ancient post-it notes from the apostles themselves. They're pre-Pauline because even the Apostle Paul, who wrote his letters in the 50s AD, is quoting traditions that predate him. The star of the show? 1 Corinthians 15, 3-7, Paul writes, "For what I have received I passed on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Cephas," that's Peter, "and then to the 12. After that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers and sisters at the same time. Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles, and last of all, he appeared to me." This isn't Paul's invention. It's a creed he received early in his Christian life. Scholars across the spectrum, from conservative evangelicals to critical academics like Bart Ehrman, agree. The formula's structure, parallel phrases, non-Pauline wording, even Aramaic echoes screams pre-Pauline. Paul converted around 33 to 35 AD, just 3 to 5 years after Jesus' death. He learned this from the apostles in Jerusalem, as he tells us in Galatians. Most experts peg this creed to 32 to 35 AD. That's contemporary history, folks. Not a game of telephone stretched over generations, but a testimony from people who could say, "I was there," or "I talked to someone who was." Imagine if a major news event today, like a world leader's assassination, had a creed-like summary circulating on social media days later, quoted verbatim by eyewitnesses. That's the vibe here. It includes over 500 witnesses, named leaders like Peter and James, and ties straight to the Old Testament prophecies. No embellishments at all, just straight facts. Skeptics love to say Christianity grew from myths, but this creed shuts that down right away. The resurrection claim was the explosive core from day number 1. And it's not alone. Other pre-Pauline gems, like Philippians 2, 6 through 11, the Christ hymn about Jesus humbling himself to death and being exalted, date even earlier, possibly to the late 30s AD, or Romans 1, 3 through 4, a Semitic-flavored creed calling Jesus the Davidic Messiah, declared with power to be the Son of God by his resurrection. These aren't late inventions, they're the soundtrack of the earliest church, chanted in house gatherings from Jerusalem to Antioch. So if the Bible's heartbeat, Jesus' victory over death, was pulsing within years of the cross, doesn't that flip the too late to trust script? These creeds aren't hearsay, they're historical anchors grounding the Gospels in eyewitness urgency. The writers weren't myth makers, they were heralds defending a truth worth dying for. Now let's zoom out a little bit to the Bible as a whole. Critics sometimes paint it as a hodgepodge of fables, but peel back the layers and you see a masterpiece of consistency. Picture this, 66 books penned over 1,500 years in 3 languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Authors, shepherds like Moses, kings like David, fishermen like Peter, physicians like Luke. Geographies, from the deserts of Sinai to the courts of Babylon, the streets of Jerusalem to the roads of Rome. Yet despite this diversity, the Bible weaves a seamless story of redemption. How? Over 60,000 cross-references, links where one verse echoes or fulfills another. Take Genesis 3:15 for example, the proto-evangelium, promising a serpent crusher. It points forward to Galatians 4:4, God sending his son, or Isaiah's 53's suffering servant, according in Acts 8 as fulfilled in Jesus. These aren't coincidences, they're divine threads, impossible without supernatural oversight. In a world of fragmented texts, the Bible stands unmatched, factual, cohesive, and alive. And here's where archaeology enters the chat, like a time-traveling fact checker. For every skeptic saying, show me the receipts, show me the proof, show me the evidence, the spade keeps delivering. In recent years, between 2020 and 2025, digs have unearthed biblical bullseyes that scream reliability. Take 2024 at Tel Shiloh. Excavators found a rare gold pendant from the biblical period etched with a face that echoes ancient Near Eastern artistry described in Judges. Shiloh was Israel's tabernacle site. Talk about a holy hotspot confirmed. Or in Jerusalem city of David, a bulla, a clay seal, inscribed with a biblical name linking straight to royal administration in 2 Kings. And get this, a 2025 discovery in Jordan identified Tal ad-Dahab al-Garbi as ancient Mahanaim, the 2 camps from Genesis 32 where Jacob wrestled angels and David fled Absalom. Satellite imagery and digs nailed it, another patch of promised land verified. Earlier gems, the 2023 Abel Beth Makkah dig uncovered evidence tied to King David's era, bolstering 2 Samuel. And don't forget the ongoing Temple Mount sifting project. In 2024, they ID'd a pilgrim token from Jesus' time, exchangeable for offerings at the very temple courts. These aren't fringe finds, they're peer-reviewed confirmations from sites like Lachish, Hezekiah's siege ramp, and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Archaeology doesn't prove faith, but it crushes the myth that the Bible's just made-up geography or history. People, places, events, it's all there etched in stone, and you can never take that away. The Bible isn't a dusty relic. It's a living document rooted in creeds chanted mere years after Calvary, cross-referenced like a cosmic blueprint and affirmed by shovels in the soil. To the atheist friend, it's not long after, it's right after. Eyewitnesses. Thanks for joining Faith in Focus. Until next time, keep seeking and keep believing. God bless.
Thank you, Kevin, for continuing to prove the scripture's reliability from the start. This has been recorded 2 to 5 years after Christ's death. This is contemporary history, really.
Absolutely.
Wow. From the governor's justice agenda to Attorney General Uthmeier's parental rights leadership battles, Florida is setting the standard, guys, for constitutional conservatism nationwide, really.
Yes. And as Moms for Liberty leaders, grassroots advocates, and state officials gather in Orlando this weekend, it's clear that Florida isn't just leading politically, we're shaping the future of America by instilling better culture.
Absolutely. We're keeping you informed, guys, right here on CCN. We're keeping you empowered and connected to the heartbeat of freedom right here in the free state of Florida.
And for Coastal Conservative News, I'm Allie Lachey.
And I'm Michelle Posey. Guys, stay strong this weekend. Stay free. And as always, God bless the great state of Florida.
And also keep your eyes open for those No King protests. If you have any information you would like to share, make sure you reach out to
contact at coastalconservativenews.com. Send us any footage if you see anything out there. See something, say something.
Absolutely. We'll keep pressing for answers, tracking the dollars, and standing up for Florida families. For Coastal Conservative News, we'll see you next week at 7 p.m. right here on CCN.